Hi everybody, how you doing today? This is Ismail with another video, and it's been a while since I've done videos. I've been pretty busy this year, but as you also know, this is a time, unfortunately, that's very difficult for the country as well as probably your own town, state, wherever you may live. And we're dealing now with a very difficult virus that is going across the world called COVID-19 or coronavirus. So I thought I'd make this video to really discuss some of the ways you can help your students who are now probably at home. And if your state has done what my state, I live in New York, so all public schools as well as many private schools, charter schools are closed probably until about April, or they're not even sure if they'll open in April. But regardless, your students will be home, you're going to be home, and you still have a job to do, which is teach art. So for me, it's going to be quite interesting to see what is going to transpire in these times, right? But on a brighter point, I wanted to also talk about ways that you can do really wonderful things in terms of getting your students still engaged in the arts. And I think what's really wonderful is that the arts are now going to be so important, in every way. Because, students are going to be home, families with their families, and I know the parents will be feeling a lot of pressure to keep the kids engaged, and so the arts will be important. Music, art, even sports to some degree, right? Anything that will keep them attention. You don't want really kids to be completely glued to the TV all day long and using technology as a babysitter. Instead, use technology as a way to enhance learning. And that's what I'm going to try to discuss with you today regarding online learning for the visual arts teacher. So let's begin. So what are some of the things we can do to teach the arts remotely, especially visual arts? Well, one way we could do that is setting up a classroom online. Now, where I work and in New York, Google Classroom has become really the source or the platform in which we create a way where students can plug in. My school offers Gmail to all students, 6th through 8th grade. What's great about that is that I could create a classroom set up on the platform where my students, and I can invite my students via Gmail and also through regular email to join the class, so that this way they're plugged in, and every time I give a lesson, they'll be notified of that. So Gmail becomes a real wonderful way, if you have it, to get into a Google Classroom. So it's a wonderful platform. It does provide ways that you can show videos, lesson plans, basic instruction, activities. You can also show PowerPoints and things of that nature to help your students, with the various activities that you're going to formulate for them, right, for your class. So there's a lot of information, so I hope I'm not going too fast. But Google Classroom is a great platform if you're wondering how you can begin to teach online. Now, there are other platforms out there, depending on the town, city, or state that you live in, especially with your district. Your district may be using something else, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, of course, but if you're looking for a way, and maybe if you're an administrator and you're looking for a quick way in which you can kind of get teachers setting up classrooms, Google Classroom is really a wonderful way to do that. And you can really get your students up and running, you know, in terms of lessons, and so this way they don't lose anything during this time that they're away from school. Okay. I'm looking at my notes because I wrote a lot of things down, and what you want to do with your art lessons is what you should be doing even if you did have a traditional classroom, which is break down your activities, break down your lessons, have your criteria very clear, your learning targets, what are your objectives, you know, so on and so forth, right? The only difference is that you got to really now have them kind of written out really well. Another useful tool is Grammarly. If you're not a great writer, I'm not a great writer personally or a great speller, but Grammarly is very helpful in kind of helping with just basic grammar. If you're like me, I can't really spell well. I kind of rely on spell check, so that's important. Have lessons that are step by step. Demonstrate as much as you can, so video will become really important in that way. And I'm going to talk a little bit about equipment, and you really don't have to spend a lot of money to get really good priced equipment that you could use to videotape. And I'm going to show you two devices. Actually, I'm going to show you one device that I'll show you on camera. One device, you're seeing the work of it, which is my camera over here. And that is my Canon, and it's called a Vixia HF R80. I believe I bought that camera for about $200. It's a camcorder, I should say. It's a wonderful device. It allows you to flip the screen, so right now while I am speaking with you, I'm able to see my camera image and see that I fit within the frame. So that's really important. And then there's another device which is in this box. I've already used it, but I put it back in boxes just to be careful with it. It's called an IPVO, and it's a ultra high definition camera, and it basically sits on a table. And I'm gonna just prop it open here for a moment so you can kind of see what it looks like. And it's a wonderful device, and the reason I found out about this device is that I went to a PD where I saw a teacher use it for her demonstration, and I thought it was amazing. So it connected to her smartboard as well as to her laptop, and it looks something like this, and this is it. So I'm gonna so I could fit in the frame. So if you see, this is a camera here. So depending on, you know, I would basically put this on a table and I would do the artwork, and this will actually shoot a nice large amount of area that you can actually do a demonstration, and the students can actually see what you're doing. And what's great is it's on video, so they could see it several times. And of course, if you know a little bit about how to use some of the editing techniques that they offer online, and you know, like a Microsoft, if you have a PC or if you have an Apple, you know, you can modify the way it looks, and you know, cut and add captions and things like that to help with your lesson, you know. So this is a wonderful little device. Again, it's called this particular machine. This particular camera cost only $100 on Amazon. So again, it's called the Ultra High Definition USB Camera. I will put all that information, everything I'm discussing in this video, on the links below. Okay, on the comments below. I'm sorry. So I'm going to explain. I'll put a list of the camera. I'll put a link to it and things like that. So you don't have to spend a lot of money to get good technology as far as you know, equipment and technology that you're going to need to do a video of the artworks that the students will be doing, or of course talking to the students via the camera. Okay, So there's a lot that you can do. Now, I kind of went ahead with this part. So let's discuss now, how are students going to draw? How are students going to get the materials that they need? That will be a challenge. I won't lie, it will be. Because all kids come from different walks of life, different, economically, different stations in life. So getting certain supplies may be difficult for certain students. So be really cognizant of that. I would advise you that if you can make your lessons, give them options. Like, I'll give you a good example. Let's say I want them to draw an apple, right? Learning contour, learning sustained observation, understanding line, shape, and even color, right? So I may have a student that has all the color pencils that you can ask for and can do it in color and pretty much give me what I'm looking for. But then I may have another student who doesn't have colored pencils or can't get them. But they do have graphite, regular graphite pencil. So give them the option that they could do it in pencil, graphite, and give them an option they could do it in color. As far as grading, that's really up to you. I think you need to look at technique, not just at what materials they have. I wouldn't grade them based on what materials they have. I would grade them on the work. And you don't have to use very sophisticated materials. And I tell this to my students all the time. You don't need sophisticated materials to do great work. You just have to have knowledge and a good foundation to get them going, in terms of art technique and so on, right? So try to be really careful with that. But I would also say, because again, remember that students are not allowed, and I know in New York we're not encouraging students, our students, to be out in the street. I know it's very difficult, especially if they want to get, like, let's say, they want to get a box of crayons or they want to get a box of colored pencils, and the 99-cent store is, let's say, across the street, or if there's an art store nearby that may be or may not be open. So online would be fine, getting it online. So Amazon.com, Michaels, which does crafts and other type things like that. I think it's Michaels.com. I'll put the link below to make and let you know exactly where they are. Target, eBay, places like that. You can order supplies. Oh, and of course Blick. How can I forget Blick? Blick is a wonderful source, of course, of all things art, right? And there are other services out there that people may know. And if you know of any other online stores that are great for and not too expensive, so that students and their parents can get certain things, if they want to get charcoal or whatever, again, online is the safest way. And we have to really be grateful that that the United States Parcel Service is still working. Despite all of this that's going on in the world, we could still get our mail, we could still get packages. I'm still getting packages today, and everything is closed, and I got a package today. So we have to really be grateful. Thank your mailman, because it's really, they're really making a sacrifice for us, right? And I just wanted to check my list to see if I covered everything, and I think, and I'm sorry that I'm going everywhere. It's been a real crazy time. I think a lot of our teachers are feeling a lot of stress. How do I teach art? And I felt that same stress. I'm lucky. I'm fortunate to work with two other amazing, brilliant art teachers in my school that have also going through the challenges, but we're talking to each other. And I think that's the key to really understanding how to do this online. Talk to seasoned teachers out there. Facebook, I know most people don't like Facebook that much, and some people are okay with Facebook. Regardless, there's some wonderful group pages where for art teachers, for visual arts teachers, for all fields of art education. So music, dance, theater, the visual arts. So get connected, because there are a lot of art teachers across the country that are facing the same challenges, but you know what? We're sharing lessons, we're sharing ideas, things like this regarding equipment, materials, things like that. Whatever we're able to do, and just an encouraging word to one another. I find it very difficult. I'm planning for a classroom now. All of a sudden now I got to plan for a virtual classroom online, which is very different. But at the same time, I think it's a wonderful challenge in the sense that it also stretches you as an art teacher, and I think you can really grow. I'm looking forward to seeing what I could do with my cameras, and how I can better serve my students and helping them continue their passion for the arts. They know I love the arts, and I love to share my passion with them. So I'm hoping that they will really get a hold of that. So I think that's about it for now. I wish you the very best wherever you are. And of course, if you have any comments, if you have any ideas about online learning, if you want to know more about Google Classroom, I could definitely help you with that. I'm going to put a couple of links, of course, down in the comments section, and to let you know on the bottom of this video, more or less, what you should know, or at least what you need to know. And of course, if there's stuff that I have not covered in this video, and information that I may not be aware of, but you may know, please share it. And I promise to put it in a later video, that information, okay? I wish you the very best. Please stay healthy, all right, and stay safe. And my best to you, your family, and your students. And you take care.